Man, I'm so sorry, guys. This is take 3, episode 2, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, of course. Yes, apologies, guys. Just had power problems, so my bad. But we're going to continue on. Nevertheless, we're just going to continue and get through some videos on the documentaries, and yeah, so go as long as we can. So I hope you guys enjoy. If you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe. Check out the content. Is episode 1, 2 of this collection. So go and do that. Like the videos, and I truly appreciate that. Cool. I'm just going to share this out real quick, guys, and we'll get going real quick. Alright, here we go. Wait for some peeps to come in. Like, share, subscribe, guys. It's free. You don't have to pay anything for any subscription here on YouTube. But yeah, like I said, I'll truly appreciate it if you guys like it and share it. Do a quick share, quick post, good to go. Alright, guys, I'm just going to get into it real quick. So we can get on with the stream. I hope the audio is all good. Sorry about the I don't have a good headset for to stream with at the moment, but you know, I have to make do. It is what it is. Let's get it on. Where were we? Perfecting the field. Thanks to initial play testing, many key features were suggested, created, tested in very short order. We've done this one here, we've done this one, we're over here. So we're fatal attractions. Let's get it on, guys. Please like, do those good things. Appreciate y'all. I'm working on from all to your all. I represent, guys. So I hope you can have some fun with this Legacy collection. Thank you so much. Let's do it. Yo, what's up? We got 3 up in here. Thank you.
Street Fighter had this feature which I loved and hated at the same time. You can get your opponent dizzy. I loved the fact when I was the aggressor and saw my opponent dizzy, you know, almost like salivating at this free hit that you get. And then I hated the idea of being the victim. I put the dizzy feature at the end of the fight. You just get like one last hit, and everybody would do an uppercut as your kind of like payoff. We had a feature that we had dropped in the game where Shang Tsung, when he would defeat you, he would take a sword out and he would like cut your head off. And we weren't going to use it because we were out of space, but we still had the animations of all the characters falling to their knees without a head. One day I just kind of piecemealed the idea of Johnny Cage uppercutting the opponent with this uppercut animation, and then using the animations of the character with his head, you know, cut off.
Johnny Cage wins. Flawless victory fatality.
I showed it to John, I showed it to the rest of the team, and everybody lost their mind, and we have to do this. The fact that we gave the players the ability to actually perform this kind of death blow, this kind of killing move, was really the birth of that idea.
Thank you very much.
Some people were kind of like saying, how do we can get away with, you know, letting the player kill the other player? So we showed it to management, and they loved it.
I was surprised that we could include the level of you know, blood spattering around that we did, but of course, you know, when I was working on Mortal Kombat, I had just come from Smash TV and Total Carnage, and so, you know, the levels of blood spattering around the screen wasn't new to me.
I truly appreciate that.
From that point on, it was, okay, now we got to think of fatalities for all the characters. Some of the later characters, we actually grabbed animations of them, you know, Kano ripping the heart out, Sonya doing the kiss of death and all that. The spine rip was a suggestion from John Tobias, referencing the movie Predator, and he said, why don't we do what they did in Predator when you pull the head off?
It's just like, oh, it was just like, oh
yep.
my God.
Happy Halloween. Thank you.
And I remember saying, you know, I think that's probably crossing the line. We can't do it. Again, once we mocked it up, put it into the game,
Halloween.
You know, there was no turning back. Everybody was just losing their mind.
And if anything, I felt like there was a bit of encouragement coming from other folks, you know, around the office, just because of the excitement that it drew from the players.
Everybody had to see this. No one had ever seen somebody removing someone's spinal cord. It really, it's interesting. It made it so much more emotional. It just like, you're just like, yeah! You know, it's almost like that barbaric, primal emotion, like, yeah! You know, like...
We never performance captured a fatality for Liu Kang, but there were some animations that we had not used. One of them was this really cool cartwheel kick.
Whoa! Yeah, let's grab that again, even if we don't use it. Right, use it someplace.
We were both like, wow, let's
find
a place for that.
What's up, the Hop? What's in the house? Yo, what's up, man?
When it came time to do Liu Kang's fatality, we just spliced on the uppercut animation at the end of it, and it wasn't disgusting, it wasn't gross, it wasn't shocking.
Liu Kang wins.
And we just kind of reasoned with ourselves to say, well, Liu Kang's the hero, he's a Shaolin monk, he's peaceful, heroes don't kill people, so he just gave him a big uppercut. The process of adding fatalities into the game created so much energy in the whole studio in terms of their excitement for the game that we knew there was no backing out of it at that point.
Again, you're in a very small screen environment. You really have to exaggerate things. You have to make it just outrageous.
Scorpion wins.
We found the Holy Grail. It's like hitting the lottery. You know, it was something that we knew was going to be a signature part of Mortal Kombat.
I always judge a great game by how loud players get when you play. You yell at your friends and laugh, and the volume level is a measure of a good game for me.
And like I said, it was just fun and it was happy, and that may be the secret sauce.
Again, when you see people playing the game and they're losing their minds and they're reacting to it, there's your fuel. Yeah. There's your fuel for the next, you know, for the next year to do it. So.
Who put the K in Kombat? After brainstorming, names including Humid, Death Blow and Dragon Attack and name Mortal Kombat was suggested, but who changed the spelling to a K? Let's find out, eh?
Who put the K in Kombat?
I did. I put the K in Kombat. I didn't come up with a name, but the K. This is my story, this is my memory anyway.
I came up with Mortal and the K instead of a C.
Yeah, well, you know what's going to happen. We're going to come up with all the names. We're all going to like them, and Ed's going to hate every one of them. Why? DEF CON is overused. Where? Everywhere. I've heard that so many times.
Yeah, every time you watch War Games.
Ed's probably right behind me, isn't he? Like going, no, you didn't.
I think there's different stories going on. This is my recollection. It's been 30 years. We had a bunch of words written on a grease board.
We didn't have a name, so there was a bunch of possibilities, and one of them was Mortal Kombat.
Kombat was written, I don't know if it had a K at the time, but Steve Ritchie, he said the words, what about Mortal Kombat?
They had Kombat on their whiteboard, but they were all a lot younger than me, and I'm not sure they ever heard of the phrase, they fought in Mortal Kombat, meaning somebody's gonna die. It is what this game is about. It's Mortal Kombat.
And when he said that, you know, from my perspective, it was like, whoa, there's the name.
Hey,
right there.
Glinda.
but I
What's
don't
up,
do you
Glinda?
remember
Thank you
what
for
the
coming
cake
in, man.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
yeah, what I
Like
remember
and
was
share
that,
before you
and
go.
then
Appreciate
I
it.
think we went
Thanks,
to
Glinda.
legal with that name, Mortal Kombat with a C, and they came back and said no, because they couldn't trademark it, because it was, I guess, a common term. I remember it was John Vogel,
Bryce is
right,
back.
who wrote
Thank
the
you,
K.
Bryce.
Yeah.
And in fact, he might have done that before that conversation.
As a joke, I was in the room with Ed, and as a joke, I changed the C to a K, and we were like laughing about it. Ha ha ha, that'd be funny, oh, it's so stupid. And then, so I said, all right, and I was putting it back to a C, and he goes, no, leave it, just leave the K. And so that's my memory as how it happened.
No, it was me, because the C was like, I don't know, just look cooler with the K. That's my thoughts.
And then I think we went back to legal and said, what about if it has a K? And then they went away, and then they came back and said, yes, you can. If you put a K on it, we can trademark it.
Actually, John Vogel's involvement does ring a bell for me.
I don't think I was enamored with the K. I thought it was goofy. And then when the realization hit that, well, if we change it with a K, we can use Mortal Kombat, it's like, oh, damn it. We're going to give it, like Vogel was right.
Yeah.
So whether you hate me or love me for it, now C's are now K's.
Oh, that's the face in the pit, impaled in the pit. The dev team gave themselves grisly cameos as victims of the pit. Here are source images in the game sprites from John Vogel, John Tobias. Note Ed Boon's entire corpse stuck to the pillar. Okay. There it is there. Alright.
This is the sound area. This is where they make all the sounds for the games.
I am an audio director here at NetherRealm. The sound guy, like gotta get the voices in.
Dan shows you cool stuff every couple of days. He just comes in and you go, great, this is awesome.
And he's a lot like Ed, where I just have this confidence that, he's going to go away and come back with something spectacular.
That's the Johnny Cage Nut Crunch, I believe. Didn't someone make a candy bar, Johnny Cage Nut Crunch bar?
Again, we didn't know what we were doing, so it's just, okay, it's a fighting game, a lot of yelling, a lot of pain. I don't think we had enough memory to record, okay, this is Scorpion's voice, this is Sub-Zero, so we just, like the men, we just mixed and matched. I think Sonya was the only female in the first one, so we had, obviously, a female voice for that, and that was hers. But the rest of them, I think, would just be shared. We just get the talent, which was just people around the studio. It's not like we were hiring people to come in and do this.
We recorded me as the announcer, as Shang Tsung. Liu Kang wins. Finish him.
Liu Kang wins. Fatality.
Fatality. All of those kind of classic sound calls was me, because we didn't have somebody with a better voice. Later on, we found Steve Ritchie, who had a much better voice in terms of like an announcer.
Baraka wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
I did a terrible Bruce Lee impersonation for Liu Kang. I think I did a yell for Kano.
Kano wins.
But I was also the voice of Scorpion, yelling, get over here.
Get over here! Excellent. Come here!
I had worked with Dan Forden for many years at the time. I remember there was another sound guy who thought that was the stupidest thing in the world. And it kind of was, you know. Why would a ninja, you know, yell, "Get over here"? That's such a, like, an American kind of thing.
Wins.
The idea was, again, the outrageous presentation. We really wanted to have, you know, just yelling and loudness in general into the game. From something that became with such silly roots and beginnings, you can't imagine Scorpion not having the "Get over here."
Ed would get me, this is back in the days of VHS, right? He would get me a playthrough of the background that I'd be working on. These are the instruments that I have, and look at the background, trying to think of, like, well, what makes sense musically for this.
You try to imagine the action of playing the game and what the music's going to do to, like, get you revved up.
Ever since, I don't know, the 70s, early 70s even, but always liked progressive rock a lot. So a friend of mine turned me on to King Crimson in high school, and that's been like a love of mine ever since. And so there's no doubt that there's a lot
Thank
of
you so much, guys.
King
Don't forget to like
Crimson
and share it before you
influence
guys
in
go.
the Mortal Kombat music that
Appreciate
I wrote over the years. You know, like the very first tune, it's a melody in a diminished scale, harmonized at the fifth. So that sounds like a lot of King Crimson stuff. I think they pretty much liked everything I did. I don't remember doing over too many things. Now and then there would be like, you know, maybe you should try this instead of that, and some sort of corrective feedback. But for the most part, it's just we were just kind of making it up as we went along.
Wow, pretty cool, all right. The first public test, when a prototype game was put into a real arcade for a critical playtest, the developers got to see real-world reactions to all their hard work, both good and bad. Okay, first public test, let's do it.
Testing a game was always one of the most fun parts of the job.
In the earliest days of Mortal Kombat development, the only place you could play the game was in Ed's office. I would play the game every day. Ed would call me in to try something out, but other people, you know, would walk by Ed's office and see what he was working on and come in and play the game. And it was very valuable feedback, because that feedback was coming from guys like Eugene and Mark Trammell and George Petro and, you know, a lot of the other developers in the office at the time. Eventually, we would put a game out in the hallway for anybody to play. And so we'd get pinball designers would come down and play the game. There were folks who worked in the factory would come back and they would play the game. And so we'd watch folks kind of play the game, and we'd take notes on sort of, you know, what the reactions were. And then eventually that would lead to our first weekend test.
Testing the game in the arcade was such a critical part of determining what's working and what doesn't work.
Being on test is like one of the best parts, one of the most exciting parts of doing an arcade game.
Our first location test was a weekend test that we did, and that was done at an arcade called Times Square. It was a Friday night, so it was packed. The arcade was packed. And there was a crowd around the Street Fighter game. Street Fighter 2 was out at the time. And I just thought, there's no way these guys are coming over to play our game.
It was like this big event. The whole video game department would go, no matter whose game it was.
You'd roll a blank black cabinet into an arcade and just turn it on.
When we brought the first Mortal Kombat game out on test, there were 6 characters. We didn't have Sonya yet. A whole bunch of things just weren't working. And it was all about just kind of the fundamentals, the feel of it, the reaction to the visual, the reaction to blood.
That rush, that reverie, or the destruction and devastation if something doesn't work out, you know, like, it's like, oh, we got to fix that, you know, and it hurts, you know, it feels bad.
I remember watching the first player. He was one of the walking over and looking at the attract mode and then dropped. And then I remember he walked over, tapped, fell on the shoulder, called him over, and then the other guy came over, and then they played the game. And then slowly people migrated over.
Whenever you would see a secret move come out, I remember the first time they saw Raiden do the dive move, you'd hear an audible, cheering or gasp. Or, how did you do that? Easily the most enjoyable part for me was seeing and hearing reactions from players.
And at some point, Ed, I think, went in and he did a fatality. Kind of a thing, and then he walked away. Now it's a big frenzy to figure out, like, how do you do that? How do you do that? And that's how people found out about the fatalities. Assuming my memory is correct, but I believe that's how it happened.
We would never perform fatalities in front of people because then someone's going to see you do it, right? Like, we wanted to launch the game and have people discover it naturally and organically.
Testing the first Mortal Kombat, there was a certain amount of anonymity, I guess you can say. Like, we could be in an arcade watching with a crowd of other people and be close enough in age to them that we just kind of blend in. What is this new game? And then you would get a candid response. Once you tell them that you worked on the game, then they're not going to say anything negative about it.
Across the street from Times Square was a pizza place. And so we would go across the street, get some pizza, and we would discuss, everything that we saw, what was cool, what was not cool, or, what should we change? Hey, that was cool. And it was so much fun.
Seeing that first game on test was so
sorry guys, about
reaffirming that we had something big. I saw players get so excited they just had to run. They just had to run around like in circles.
By the end of that night, we had a pack of players around our game, hooting and hollering and just having a great time.
Players that we saw first see the game on a Friday, we saw them the entire weekend.
And I think at that point I thought, okay, we're gonna be okay.
Okay. What's next? Lieutenant Blade reporting for duty. On April, location test with a work-in-progress build of the game features just 6 characters. After seeing players react, the team realized that they wanted to add another to the roster. The team then added Sonya, reworking Striker's background as a Special Forces soldier. Sonya's performance picture. Alright.
Let's try that one you were talking about. Okay. Where she.
Could you probably in the back. You just do the handstand and you. All you have to do is just land right there.
Very interesting, but awesome. Thank you, Bryce.
That's great.
You got to realize this is back in 91, 92.
Yeah, let's try
when they were making this, so
just, step up a little bit
the technology is, not there, obviously.
Start a little bit further up.
Can you start on the mat?
But they're doing live capture with real people. It's not, ones and zeros, bits, not computer graphics. They're using live action performance. So that's what you're seeing right now. So that's just awesome.
Get like in your stance and just act like you're getting into it. Actually, she should step up. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good move. You'll be impressed when you see what we turn that into.
Yeah, it's very impressive. What's her name? Elizabeth Maleki provided the moves for Sonya Blade, including performing a handstand. She backbends. Selected frames from the sequence would become her iconic leg grab move. Yep, right there. Cool. Boone and Tobias. Ed Boone, John Tobias' skills complemented each other extremely well. Both men, well as team members, explain why they think they made such an effective pair. Yeah.
This was our first game that we were doing kind of as
Sorry about the
the
background.
leaders of the
Family's
you know,
here.
Mark Trammell was the kind of leader of the Smash TV team, and Eugene was kind of the leader of the High Impact team, along with John Newcomer. And so this was kind of like our first solo project.
I think they have complementary skill sets.
We're symbiotic in a way. Certainly in the first few games, it was just like we just knew what the other person was looking for. And I don't know that we ever, I mean, if we had an argument, it certainly wasn't about the work that we were doing. We just seemed to know what the other person was looking for.
They worked well because they trusted each other's talents enough to say, okay, yeah, you know what you're talking about. Ed took care of all the programming. John took care of all the art.
They just had this unsaid, hey, you know, it'd be fun. Yeah, that's awesome. Let's do it.
Working with Ed, one of his great strengths were just his focus, I think, and his ability to just grind and get things done. Ed, who was the sole programmer to create that game, in hindsight, was incredible.
For one programmer to do all those games is pretty amazing. And
his door is always open. He wants to hear new ideas. He's dangerously funny, where it just busts me up at least once a day.
He would just crack us up all the time, just his jokes, and he made it easy to work the long hours.
John is a really good storyteller. John has a history as a comic book artist, so I think that probably contributed to his ability to tell a compact story. The only story we had was a little paragraph that would play underneath the character doing a kata, but that was enough to really intrigue players.
You really gave a shit about it because of the backstory, because about the whole mythology that John Tobias had created. You know, maybe not unlike WWF or something, almost like Star Wars in martial arts.
The first game truly was like an expression of just who we were at the time. You know, we were in our early 20s, the stuff that we consumed growing up as kids, and we just threw it all into the game. There was nobody telling us what to do, how to do it.
I think it was a great partnership, and I think, you know, what can you say? Success beyond belief.
Nice. So maybe we'll do a couple more, guys. Cut them in for, and we'll call it a night for the stream. But we'll see. Flip. Alright guys, depending how long we'll do this last one. We've got 7 up in here. Bryce, what did you do, man? What did you say? It's all good, bro. Just leave it there. I haven't read it yet. What did you delete? It's all good, bro. We'll do one more, guys.
Fighting games have proven themselves to be strong collectors suitable for a wide range of locations. They embody the most attractive elements of the arcade experience, characters endowed with mythic powers, full player control, secret moves, and the kind of unbridled, head-to-head competition that compels repeat buy-in. Now from Midway comes Mortal Kombat. It captures the most popular elements of the fighting game and adds more control, more powerful characters, more depth, more secret moves, and advanced digitized graphics, delivering the most realistic fighting action available. Begin Mortal Kombat by choosing one of 7 characters, each boasting an arsenal of unique talents.
I'm not going to be here
There's
for too
Johnny
long.
Cage,
I'm
the
going to stop
brash
this
Hollywood movie star.
I think.
Kano, thief and mercenary. Raiden, the mythical thunder god. Liu Kang, the fighting Shaolin monk. Scorpion, a ninja warrior bent on revenge. Sub-Zero, the ultimate assassin. And Sonya, U.S. Special Forces soldier. Each player has 5 basic moves corresponding to the 5 action buttons. High punch. High kick. Low punch. Low kick. And a block. In addition to these moves, players will continue to discover new joystick button combinations. Each new technique provides another competitive edge. For example, moving the joystick away from your opponent while pressing the low kick button will result in this sweep kick. Moving the joystick straight down will put the player in a crouch. By then releasing the joystick and pressing low punch, you'll administer a devastating uppercut.
Johnny Cage wins.
Secret moves play a big part in the success of any fighting game. Collections soar as players strive to develop a character's full fighting potential. Mortal Kombat has several times more secret moves than the nearest competitor. The button joystick combinations required to execute these moves are different for each character, as are the moves themselves. And each character's arsenal of secret moves offers unique tactical advantages. If you learn one of Sonya's secret moves, you'll be able to perform this devastating scissor throw. Learning to activate Raiden's secret weapon lets you fire lightning bolts at your opponents.
Raiden wins.
Victory is achieved by winning 2 out of 3 rounds. Players losing a match will have to buy in to continue.
Liu Kang wins.
Finally, winning 3 matches against paired adversaries will put you in the ring opposite Goro, a 4-armed, unstoppable titan, half human, half dragon. Should Goro be subdued, you'll engage the most deceptive and powerful opponent of all, Shang Tsung, the bloodthirsty emperor capable of instantly becoming any fighter he chooses. Conquer Shang Tsung, and you will have joined unfrequented ranks, those who have battled all adversaries, yet survived.
Test your might.
Every 5 matches during both 1- and 2-player games, you'll have a chance to test your strength and win bonus points by smashing progressively harder objects. Two-player mode allows true head-to-head combat. Players must rely on their fighting abilities, as well as a knowledge of their character's strengths, as they are matched against an opponent with different, but equally lethal, abilities. Each player selects a character and the match begins. The player losing the best-of-3 match will have the option of buying in to continue. The winning player will continue to play as long as he maintains a string of victories. Loser pays, winner stays. From a technical standpoint, operators will find even more to like. Mortal Kombat employs Midway's exclusive diagnostic package and a sensitive, yet durable, 8-way micro-switch joystick. In addition, operators will want to be aware of a dip switch setting we've included, allowing them to temper the game to fit the requirements of a location. By simply flipping a switch on the CPU board, you're able to remove any depictions of blood that would otherwise appear in the game. Another dip switch will disable the most graphic secret moves. In this way, operators can be sure they're matching the game to the disposition of their clientele. Mortal Kombat is quite simply the most complete video fighting game available. It boasts the industry's most realistic graphics, digitized images of real martial arts experts, heroic characters more powerful than those found on any other fighting game, secret moves to learn and master, and fierce battles against titanic adversaries. All of these elements combine to make this game powerfully unique, the world's most advanced interactive fighting experience.
Interesting. It's good, like, having these documentaries, eh? It's pretty good. So you guys get a, you know, a good picture of what Mortal Kombat's about, who the developers were, how they've done it, etc, etc. So that's why we're doing this in this collection, guys. But we'll leave it there, right there, guys. We can come back another time and continue our journey through this documentary with this Mortal Kombat Legacy collection of games. So thank you so much, guys, for popping in. How much we got up in here? How long we been going? 36 minutes? Okay. Hang on, we've got 7 up in here, it says. Hold on. We'll carry on, eh? We'll carry on. Bye Viking. Hey Bryce, man, thank you very much, bro. Yeah, we will cut it there, cut it short. Anyway, we'll be back, guys, to continue on. And like I said, thank you so much for coming along to the live stream and checking out this collection with me. So yeah, I'm Viking, man. Don't forget to like, share it before you leave. Do all those good things. I appreciate it, guys. I'm Viking from Aotearoa, land of the long white cloud. I represent you guys right here, and I represent you guys. So until the next one, take care, be safe. I'm out, guys. Peace. Catch you on the next one. See ya.